Right now at Gap Factory and Banana Republic Factory, save 50 to 70% off everything in stores and online. That's right, 50 to 70% off everything. Celebrate the 4th with dresses from $19.99 at Banana Republic Factory. And at Gap Factory stores, tees start at $4.99. Plus, save an extra 40% off clearance. Sale ends Tuesday. Search our store locator for your nearest Gap Factory and Banana Republic Factory store or shop us online.
Episode 789 of No BS Job Search Advice Radio. I'm your host, Jeff Altman, the Big Game Hunter. I'm the head coach for JobSearchCoachingHQ.com, and I coach job hunters into new roles. I don't do recruiting anymore. I'm a coach helping people be much more effective with their search. Now, today's show deals with one of those tough interview questions that's designed to expose you, embarrass you, make you uncomfortable. And I show you how to turn the tables with this question so that you find out what their history is. The question is, have you ever fired someone? I hope you enjoy this show and find it helpful. Please give the show 5 stars in iTunes or Stitcher, and a review in iTunes in particular would be helpful. I'll read it on air, and whether you think it's a strong positive or something to be critical, hey, I learned from it. So please leave a review in iTunes. I hope it's 5 stars. If it's less than that, I respect your opinion. Now, let's get going. And the question is, have you ever fired someone? Now, there's lots of layers to how to answer this question, depending upon who the audience is. But I want to address one thing first before I actually answer the question. And that is, there's a signal that they are sending in the question that is going to bear investigation later on. That's why I wanted to say this at the beginning, because there will be a temptation to cut off as soon as I start answering the question. But I want to ask you, hang in there, because the signal is really the most important part of the question. So the way I would answer the question straight on depends on the organization. So, for example, if this was a Wall Street firm, which has the reputation of being tough, aggressive, hedge fund, and I'm just caricaturing here. You've seen enough movies, so you know what I'm talking about. You might simply say, yeah, I fired people before. Performance is always the variable. I've had the good fortune of not having to deal with harassment issues. Generally, my terminations have all come after a remediation process. You notice where I'm going with this. I'm making sure the I's are dotted and T's are crossed. It's coming after a remediation process where we worked with the individual to see if we can get their performance up to standards. We couldn't. They were fired very simply because they didn't perform at a high enough level. So you do it very blunt, very direct. Different types of firms, smaller firms for which there's a caring culture. So I'm going to use a nonprofit as an example here. You might simply say, yes, I've had the misfortune of having to fire someone. And frankly, it was a very hard thing to do. Yes, we went through the procedure of remediation, but it's the admission that we as an organization and I as a manager failed this person and failed in delivering an environment where they could excel. Now, you could do your version of that, but that's a theme to work with. Notice how instead of that firm and tough attitude of the first answer, there's a more gentle approach to answering the question. And thus you have to know the culture that you're interviewing with in order to understand which one is the right one to use. After all, the tough person isn't going to work well in the nonprofit, and the touchy-feely person isn't going to work well in the hedge fund environment, right? Now, here's the signal. The signal that they're sending to you is that they've got some problems. And they're curious as to whether or not you could step into an awkward situation and solve it for them. Do you have that kind of experience? And thus, when you finish answering the question, the way I want you to flip it is, once you've answered the question that they've asked, You follow up immediately by saying, I'm curious, is there an issue around here that I should know that I'm stepping into? Notice this is a question for someone in a leadership role. And this is your opportunity for them to be forthcoming with you about what's going on or what has gone on. Because they may talk about your predecessor or someone that they've hired in the past who couldn't pull the trigger and thus had to leave, or they had to get rid of because they wouldn't fire someone, or they handled it badly, or whatever it is. It's their chance to become forthcoming with you and for you to learn more about them, what their history has been, and thus it signals a great opportunity for you to explore. So that's today's show. I hope you enjoyed it. And if you did, here are a few other ways that we can connect with one another. The first one is if you're an executive and interested in one-on-one coaching, email me at jeffaltman@thebiggamehunter.us. In the subject line, put the word coaching. So this way I know what it's about. Next, if you're not an executive, the best way to reach out to me is through jobsearchcoachinghq.com. There I have curated information from around the web that you can watch, listen to, read, primarily my own information, but again, there's some stuff from other people that's there with their permission. Also, if we are not connected on LinkedIn, send a connection request to me at linkedin.com/IN/the-big-game-hunter. Mention that you listen to the show because I love to hear from people who listen to the show. It just puts a big smile on my face, which reminds me, Facebook. Connect with me on Facebook. Look for Jeff Altman, the Big Game Hunter, and give me 5 stars. Subscribe to the page. You'll get lots of information sent to you daily with different pieces of advice for you. And lastly, because I don't really mention this on the show all that much, in addition to job search coaching, I do executive and what I call business life coaching. Business life coaching, where I work with self-employed people who have a lunatic for a boss. People like your wife, husband, partner, friends of yours who may be either wrestling with something in their business and need an advisor to work with, or people who are doing extremely well and they need to have someone to talk with because business is just exploding for them. So again, reach out to me through jeffaltman@thebiggamehunter.us. I'll get back to you. We'll figure out a time to speak, and I look forward to helping you. Hope you enjoyed this again, and have a great day. Take care.
Right now at Gap Factory and Banana Republic Factory, save 50 to 70% off everything in stores and online. That's right, 50 to 70% off everything. Celebrate the 4th with dresses from $19.99 at Banana Republic Factory. And at Gap Factory stores, tees start at $4.99. Plus, save an extra 40% off clearance. Sale ends Tuesday. Search our store locator for your nearest Gap Factory and Banana Republic Factory store or shop us online. Right now at Gap Factory and Banana Republic Factory, save 50 to 70% off everything in stores and online. That's right, 50 to 70% off everything. Celebrate the 4th with dresses from $19.99 at Banana Republic Factory. And at Gap Factory stores, tees start at $4.99. Plus, save an extra 40% off clearance. Sale ends Tuesday. Search our store locator for your nearest Gap Factory and Banana Republic Factory store or shop us online.